The history of rap is full of many figures who have changed the game in ways that no one saw coming. From the early days of rap, to NWA, to even now with Drake, these figures helped shape what rap was to be. However, one could argue that in the first decade of the 2000s, no one was as powerful, as epic, and as influential as Eminem. The man known as Slim Shady dominated that decade and set a tone that many would try and replicate. But it came at serious costs, and he's definitely a different man today. So allow us to show you Eminem, then and now. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The early life of Eminem. Marshall Mathers, yes, that's Eminem's real name, was born in 1972 in St. Joseph, Missouri. Yeah, bet many of you thought he was born and raised in Detroit, but that's not the case. And to say that his early life was hard would be an understatement, mainly because his father, also named Marshall Mathers, abandoned Eminem and his mother at a very young age. Eminem tried to contact his father for many years of his life, including writing him letters well into his teenage years, but they were never replied to, and his father never re-entered his life. As for his mother Debbie, she did try her best to try and provide for Eminem, but being a single parent in those times was not really the easiest thing to do, and she had a very hard time holding down a job, so much so that they constantly moved from place to place in order for her to go and find work. And one of the places she would frequently live in was Detroit, Michigan. One of the problems of them moving around a lot was that Eminem never really got to find his footing with friends in school. As a result, he was a loner and often bullied. One of the bullies he had actually assaulted him in school and hurt Eminem's head pretty badly. Furthermore, Eminem alleged later on in life via one of his songs that his mother was addicted to Valium, which she denies, and that she wasn't the nicest to him at times. Like so many rappers in their youth, Eminem didn't have it easy, but his time would come, as he would discover. Music and lyrics. Believe it or not, despite his school life not being the best, including having to take 9th grade multiple times, Eminem did have a favorite subject in English. He liked finding words to express who he was and how he felt, and he also loved comic books. In fact, he wanted to be a comic book writer before hearing hip-hop and rap for the first time via a CD he got from an uncle he honestly had a good connection with. After he dropped out of high school, he started doing odd jobs and rapping. At this point in time, he was in Detroit and would go to places where they had rap battles to test one's skill. This was the birthplace of the underground Detroit rap scene, and Eminem was a big part of it. And he used these battles in his movie 8 Mile. He wanted to succeed in this industry, but he had a hurdle to cross, because he was white. You see, at this point in time, white rappers were unicorns due to the industry being predominantly black. However, Eminem was determined to make it work, and because of his desire to make the most out of all of his lyrics, he worked hard in these rap battles and underground scenes to improve himself and get his own flow going. Which worked, because he was becoming a name in the underground realms of Detroit and proving just how good he was. He just needed a little bit of help from a legend. Dr. Dre. Eminem tried to make it on his own for a while, including releasing his first album, known as Infinite, in 1996. It bombed, badly in fact, and after hearing criticism, he went and developed his alternate persona, known as Slim Shady. It was here that the anger of Eminem came forth, and when he released the Slim Shady EP, people started to notice just how dark and powerful his lyrics could be. He later went to the Rap Olympics in 1997 and placed second, which led to him meeting someone from the label Interscope Records. He gave them a tape of his EP, and it was then that the one and only Dr. Dre took notice of him and realized that this kid had talent. In my entire career in the music industry, I have never found anything from a demo tape or a CD. When Jimmy played this, I said, "Find him now." And find him he did, and despite being nervous around working with a legend like Dre, Eminem worked with him for about 2 years on his next album, his true debut in many ways, the Marshall Mathers LP. It sold nearly 2 million records in a week, shattering the best-selling and fastest-selling hip-hop records held by Snoop Dogg and Britney Spears at the time. And he was just getting started. Decade of dominance. Fun fact for you all, from 2000 to 2009, who was the best-selling artist across all of music? Eminem. Obviously. He sold 32.2 million albums in the 2000s, which edged out the Beatles. Yes, those Beatles. Think about that for a minute, if you will. That means that a rapper, a white rapper who claimed to be from Detroit, who had a skinny body, blonde hair, and so on, outsold everyone, past and present, in that decade. That's insane, and many would have said that this was impossible. But it wasn't, not for Slim Shady. Some of his best songs ever came from that decade, including Lose Yourself, The Real Slim Shady, Stan, and so on. But despite that success, it came at a cost: mental and physical health. You see, while Eminem was living the life of a rap megastar, his home life and personal life was another matter entirely. You see, during that very decade, he had a very public feud with his wife and mother of his child in Kim Scott. In fact, they not only were fighting often, they got divorced, got remarried, and then got divorced again. Not exactly the most stable of family situations, wouldn't you agree? And his mother actually sued him as well after his song "Cleaning Out My Closet" released, stating that she was a drug addict and abusive to him. Furthermore, he found himself getting heavy into drugs, which led to him overdosing in 2007 at the peak of his fame. By his own admission, if the ambulance had gotten him to the hospital just a little bit later, he would have died. This near-death experience hurt him deeply mentally, and he worked hard to straighten out both in terms of his life and relationships, but also his music. He started to be more uplifting in his rap tracks, trying not to be as hateful and vengeful as he was before. It had a curious effect on fans. Backlash and Kamikaze. You see, when your fans expect something from you, they want that thing and only that thing. And while fans were supportive of Eminem early on during his mental change, after a while they got tired of it. By the time the album Revival came out in 2017, it was very much hated, and people felt that the real Slim Shady was dead and not coming back. Oh, Eminem didn't like that at all, so he stewed for 2 years, and then in 2019, without warning, he dropped a new album in Kamikaze, and blew everyone away with how he went after virtually everyone that he had ever beefed with, as well as blasting the new mumble rap genre that had been born in recent years. It was a hit album, and many proclaimed Eminem back, even if it was just for a short time. Eminem now. As for how Eminem is right now, he's doing fine. He's released a couple of albums since Kamikaze to mixed reception, but is still beloved by his core fan base. He's also been very vocal on certain political matters and was very supportive of the Joe Biden campaign, encouraging people to vote in the 2020 election. In terms of him being a better man, Eminem is arguably at his best right now. He's a supportive father to his daughter Haley, he's been sober for well over 10 years now, and he still cares about music and how it affects people, including himself. It's true that Slim Shady isn't the mega star that he was back in the 2000s, but his legacy will forever be remembered, which was proven at the 2020 Oscars when Eminem shocked everyone by showing up, 17 years late, to perform his Oscar-winning song, Lose Yourself.
Lose yourself in the music, the moment you want it, you better let it go.
And as the camera panned to the crowd, stars from all walks of life and ages were singing the song with him, showing just how influential he had been. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at the life and times of Eminem, and how he has gone from the biggest rapper around to a rapper whom many think will retire soon? How much of Eminem's career have you been a part of? How long have you been a fan of his? Do you think he'll be ending his career soon? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.